We'll quickly move on to Emma Thomas. As co-head of Global Business Organization for Africa, how is the organization supporting large infrastructure projects in East Africa?
Thank you. I will recap what UK Export Finance does in case there are new people in the audience that weren't able to hear from Francois, but I'll keep it brief, and then maybe I'll move on to some specific examples. So, as the government's export credit agency, we are a source of competitive financing for UK businesses that are exporting to East African markets, as well as to overseas buyers of UK goods and services. And that's perhaps where I'll really focus today's discussion on. So we've provided over $2 billion of financing across East Africa, from Ethiopia to Uganda, Tanzania, as well. They've really been our success stories, but we're absolutely keen to expand our footprint and our portfolio across the region. And we have a very active and developing pipeline, including in Kenya and some of the other markets. So really interested if you've got projects or prospects on your horizon that you'd like to discuss, please do find Francois and myself, as well as my colleague Paul, who's also in the audience, to discuss those. In short, we have a kind of simple set of product solutions in the form of insurance, direct loans, but the majority of the support that we provide is in the form of guarantees to commercial loans. So we're really talking about commercial financing, albeit at competitive rates and over long tenors. So if you're thinking about projects, we're particularly interested in what is the debt ask, as we only support on the debt side, not on the equity. And where are you looking at making significant capital investments? That's really where we come into play, and we can be quite a catalytic source of financing, helping to mobilize other financing parties to come around the table and make your projects happen. We have a very flexible offer. A minimum of 20% of the sourcing needs to come from the UK, and that can be goods and services. So you'll often see, and I think it's very well known, that the UK has a very strong engineering, design, architectural sectors. So typically we would see quite a lot of the UK content coming through in the services. But that said, it may also come in the form of goods as well. So if we're supporting roads, you would see that actually quite a high proportion of the UK content is the bitumen that goes into the kind of raw product, which I think is perhaps not often obvious, but shows the degree of flexibility in what we're able to offer as part of our financing solution.
Yeah. How do you manage and mitigate the risk involved in high potential investment?
Yeah, so effectively we are a risk management tool really for the commercial banks. So we provide a guarantee with a full strength and credit of the UK government, which means that the commercial bank will end up pricing the loan against UK government risk rather than the overseas buyer. So this effectively substitutes, say, Uganda's credit rating for the UK credit rating, acting as a credit enhancement. And that means the commercial banks are willing to lend at more competitive interest rates and also over longer tenors. So this is really, we're really quite an important tool actually in the kind of broader financing landscape across the continent. And we've, as Francois mentioned, provided hundreds of millions of pounds in support for Ugandan government priority projects, some really innovative ones too, in some pretty important strategic sectors.
Okay, thank you very much, Emma. We'll come back to you. But let's move on to Ms. Bamuturaki, to ensure that we do it ladies first. Securing landing slots at Heathrow is a major milestone for you. Given the strong demand for the Entebbe-London route, how do you see British companies supporting the airline?
Thank you. We've secured landing rights to Gatwick.
Oh.
Yes. because the slots in Heathrow were not available. Now, to answer your question, Uganda Airlines is seen as an enabler because we are an infrastructure that supports the different areas that would like to trade between the two countries. So we enable opportunities in oil and gas, we enable tourism, education, agriculture, business and trade, and fashion and design. Now, how would we do it? One of the things we want to do is fly into England, rather into the UK, on a daily, so that we offer that connectivity and flexibility. We will start with 4 flights and then be able to increase that slowly so that we are giving people the opportunity to trade through cargo opportunities that are between the two countries, or any other process that we can be able to support back home in Uganda.
Okay, thank you very much. Picking up from what you said, what investment opportunities or partnerships are crucial for enhancing the airline operation and ensuring the long-term success of this route?
Thank you. Now, first I'd like to say that when you look at the routes we operate, using our hub in Entebbe, we already give that connectivity between places. So we fly to Mogadishu, we fly to South Sudan, we fly to Burundi, we fly to Tanzania, we fly to Kenya, South Africa, Dubai, Mumbai, Nigeria. And soon we will be flying to London. So that connectivity we offer between cities using Entebbe as a hub is one of those ways. Now, as an airline, we have projects that we want to roll out, either on a JV or on our own, depending on how we can be able to discuss this with the different entities. We want to set up our own business lounge. We would like to also have our own AMO. We already have, AMO is Approved Maintenance Organization. This is where you're able to maintain your own aircraft in-house. We have a cargo plan, because we'll be getting 2 cargo freighters as a start. So we're going to set up a cargo warehouse and have lots of infrastructure. These are some of the opportunities available. We have a training school we'd like to start, where we'll be training our own pilots in-house and then slowly move it to training other entities as well. So there are lots of opportunities in the different areas along the customer journey of the airline.
Sounds really interesting. Is there a timeline to all of this? I know a lot of people
Yes, there's a
are
timeline.
interested in knowing how soon this would commence.
Yes, there's a timeline because we have a 10-year strategy. And these projects are part of our 10-year strategy. So between the next financial year, which is 24-25, and the next 10 years, we should see ourselves rolling these out as and when the timeline starts. So yes, there's a plan for that.
Interesting discussions we're having this afternoon. One of the points that was made this afternoon was take the flight and come to Uganda. My question is, there are no direct flights from I would like to take a direct flight. When is that happening?
Thank you, panelists. For the interest of the Ugandan diaspora, I have to ask Uganda Airlines, have we got a date? Because you address them, and they're not really, yes, and we've got a 10-year scope for licensing and so on, but they like to know a date, because as you remember when you came to the mission, you met all the diaspora, and they said, we'll even drive to Luton and Glasgow, wherever it is that you have to go, that we'll fly off into Uganda directly. So any, further information you can give on that particular aspect would really be extremely important. Thank you, because I know you have some good news there as well. So.
Okay, over to you. I think you should respond before we go to the next question.
Okay. Can we pass the microphone? Yeah, sorry.
Ambassador, you're really pushing me. Yes, we don't have a debt in particular because we have done all the last time we came, we hadn't received our TCO, that is the third country certification for operators. But now we have progressed beyond that and we have applied for a foreign operators permit, and that's the last stage. Now, before we even mention a date, we must have the permit first. So we believe we'll receive the permit this week or the coming week around Wednesday. And we have 2 dates in mind. If we receive the permit this week, then we launch in November, as we had mentioned to you. You're really pushing it. If we don't get the permit this week, then we will push it to 2025 early. And I know you don't want to hear that. So yes, so our date is hopefully end of November if we get the permit this week.
Maybe then December, 1 week late.
Yes, we have to give time for sailing, Honorable. Oh, you're giving us a date. Oh my goodness, that wasn't from my mouth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, please, can we first of all give a big round of applause to Mr. Mutenza and his team, Isabel. Can I request my colleague diplomats? Thank you, too. Can we like to give a gift to Mr. Mutenza before he runs away to the back? Very fast, from Uganda Airlines. And my colleague Miriam Otengo, come this side, and put it on his head.
Oh, good.
Could we have Uganda Airlines notice that the cap is on the head and he's taking the first diasporan flight on November. Thank you. And Isabel, where are you?
You want? Yeah.
And a gift bag and a mug.
I want to fly direct to Uganda.
Yeah, Madam Jenifer. Everybody here is saying they need a direct flight in November.
Thank you. Thank you.
With Uganda Airlines caps.
I am desperate for a direct flight.
I need an Explore Uganda cap. Oh, okay. Well,
Thank you.
maybe if we can get a couple would be great,
Thank
please.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And some umbrellas. It rains a lot in London.
Oh, thank you.
Any other?
All need protection.
Any other?
And one more.
Teacher.
Thank you very much for managing us today.